bench. We're now going to jump into some NCAA picks for this Final Four. Kentucky had beat UNC, a tough UNC team, over this weekend. And I want to first ask you, how did they do this, and what should be Kentucky's game plan as they take on UConn this upcoming game? Jess?
Well, Kentucky played a very well-balanced game. They scored 38 points in each half. They were just, they were on fire, and especially from three. They were 12 for 22, 55% from three, with Brandon Knight adding five three-pointers of his own. To add to his 22 points, his 7 rebounds, he showed up and he helped them win this game.
He really did. He really controlled that team, which really evaporated after last year's NBA draft. The Calipari really rebuilt, and he got his guys to the Final Four the first time since 1998. It's a big improvement for
Right,
Calipari.
and they're going to have a really tough road against UConn. UConn has been one of my favorite teams.
Yeah.
Like I said, we've seen them play. We've seen them upset the pick game, all that. And I think the key is they need to stop Kemba Walker.
Yeah,
they need to stop him.
They have. So, Mike, how did they first defeat UNC, and what should be their game plan versus UConn?
Well, let's watch this game. I think it came down to that old cliche that defense wins championships. Kentucky was able to really find out who had the hot hand in that game and really get a hand in the face, shut it down. They were working the glass. I don't have the numbers exactly, but I know they were working the glass way better than UNC was.
Yeah.
And it seems like everything they were shooting was hitting. Like Jess said, 55% or whatever from three was just amazing in college basketball, especially in the tournament. And going up against UConn, as I mentioned, sort of hinted at last block, we're going to have to really shut down Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
They're going to have to, drop into a zone or something, kind of take away that shot that Kemba's been so big at taking out Pitt and Arizona with that foul line,
that
step back
jumper,
fade.
He's so good
if they
at
can
that.
basically get a hand in his face there, they should win.
Yeah, it's going to be a matchup from Brandon Knight and Kemba Walker, and whoever is able to apply their, game plan on the other one, because you just can't get out of your game plan. If you start playing the other team's game plan, you're going to lose, whether that's the inside game, the three-point game. You just got to stick to yours. Kentucky had a great game versus UNC. Like you said, Brandon Knight just was able to lead that team, and it's going to be who has the best leader, bottom line. Moving on now, VCU defeated Kansas, which no one expected, #1 seed. I want to first know, how did they do this, and what should they do to continue this streak against Butler?
Like you said, they've had the magic. They went from the first four, and now they're in the Final Four. They've just beat basically every single conference. They're just dominating.
Every conference.
And I think the big thing is that Kansas underestimated them, and Kansas did not play their game. It's one of the worst games that I've ever seen Kansas play. They were 2 for 21 from three. That's 10%. That's in college basketball, when you're this far in the tournament, that's terrible. Compared to VCU, they had 48% from three. And Skeen for VCU played an amazing game, 26 points, 10 rebounds.
He's a
VCU,
huge guy. Just look at him right there, just dunking that thing away.
I know, they have the momentum, and that's what they had more drive in this game, I feel.
Mike Friend, how did VCU defeat Kansas?
Well, I think VCU kind of played that cerebral game with the fact that this is the second year that somebody real low downs upset Kansas. Obviously not in the Elite Eight. Last year Kansas going out earlier. But they played a cerebral game, they played a sound game, and I think Shaka Smart, the coach of VCU, has really got into his players. We can do this. It doesn't matter what seed we are.
Exactly.
We can do this.
He's a great coach. He just the scene when he got his guys pumped up before they came out was just awesome. He got the VCU. Who would have expected the bracket buster of many years, that no one picked an 11th seed to go to the Final Four, and they really messed up a lot of people's brackets. And the way they did it, they kind of just willed themselves to this win. They were so hot from behind the three-point line, it was just crazy. And then they just had no answer for that. And my advice to them to apply another win against an underdog Butler team, even though Butler were more familiar with them because they've made it in past seasons. I just want to say Joey Rodriguez. That's all I have to say. Joey Rodriguez is the hot hand for VCU, and if he can lead his team, they'll get the win.
He was playing better than half of the Kansas guards. It was awesome.
Yeah. Moving on now, UConn defeated Arizona, which was my favorite game of the week, and I first want to know, how did they do this, Jess?
Derek Williams.
Yeah.
He was amazing, and he even played amazing there. And it was like the battle of Derek Williams and Kemba Walker. And unfortunately, the Wildcats, they just couldn't come through. At the end, it was very exciting, but they missed their last 2 shots. So that's how it happened. It was tight to the end. They were both playing amazing, but it just didn't happen for Arizona.
Mike, how did they do it?
Kemba Walker. He really controlled this game. It really came down to the last basically under a minute of that game.
They were down about 16, 18 points at one point, and they were able to come back.
And I really thought Arizona had it in the bag, but then when Arizona's down by 1, they just decided to shoot threes, which
we were talking about that earlier.
They were down by 2 or whatever, but I would have gone for the tie and then hope for overtime.
Yeah, all they needed was a 2. They attempted a 3. They got the rebound and attempted another 3-point shot. It just wasn't good shot selection at all from the Arizona Wildcats, and it was just a kind of sad, disappointing way because they fought so hard. They let UConn battle back though, and they willed themselves to the victory, and it's just sad to see. But I'm glad the Big East made it to the Final Four. Now moving on, Butler had defeated Florida in overtime. How did they do this, Jess?
Shelvin Mack. That's all you have to say.
Mack's
he is a big guy. Scored 27 points, including his 5 in the overtime win, and the crucial 3-pointer with only 1:21 left.
Yeah.
So I think that the team played very well, but Shelvin Mack was just a standout.
Mike, how did Butler defeat a tough Florida team?
Going with another Butler player, Matt Howard, I believe his name. If I got that wrong, sorry. But he was just their big man. He's been down in the paint the entire tournament, scrapping for loose balls, getting rebounds, and he was really just causing havoc for Florida down low, and he opened Sheldon Mack right up.
Yeah, I have to agree with you guys, Shelvin Mack, and this is the first time we'll have an 8th seed playing an 11th seed for a Final Four matchup or a chance to go to the championship, so this is just a great time in actually college basketball history, and like I said, Butler just had it. They wanted it. They wanted it more. And Florida, I was surprised even Florida made it this far at this point, but hey, Butler knocked them off. They knocked Pitt off. Sad to say, and we shall see what underdog will make it to the championship. We're going to shoot it to another commercial. Don't go far. We will be back with more Off the Bench. Welcome back to Off the Bench. We're now going to get into my favorite block, which is the last block. Let's get into the highlights of the week. Jess, what was your highlight of the week?
My highlight is I'm going to go local. The Clarion baseball team getting a win this weekend against Mercyhurst, who's a nationally ranked team. So congratulations, Clarion baseball.
My friend, what was your highlight?
I'm going to go to the world of hockey with the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs. And the Maple Leafs player got basically tackled in front of the goal. He's laying on the goalie, and he just kind of back behind his head with the stick and scores the goal, and it ends up being a game winner if I'm correct.
Yeah, that was a sweet goal right there. My highlight of the week was just VCU defeating Kansas in a great game. Never would have thought. And they dominated this game at the end. So it really was just like, wow, this team is making a name for themselves, and everyone will remember them from now on. Now let's get into the all-man moment. Jess, what was your all-man moment?
My all-man moment is coming from my San Francisco Giants. Barry Bonds' ex-mistress testified against him today and said that he confessed to her about steroid use, about when he had an elbow injury. He said it was because his muscles were growing too fast because of steroids. Like, oh man, really?
Man.
Mistress, really?
Oh man, that's too much right there, Barry. Get that under control. Mike, friend, what was your all-man moment?
I'm going to go back to the BYU Cougars and Jimmer Fredette. My guy, Jimmer, he's got some range, but in their last game, he didn't have it. He's literally looking like, oh, half court, just firing up everything.
Chucking them up. It was like ridiculous.
And he wasn't helpful to the team. So, oh man, Jimmer, learn where the three-point line is.
Well, my all-man moment came from the Arizona Wildcats and UConn game, and it came from big man Derek Williams. This man just dominated this game for the Wildcats. He put them in position, but just take a look at this play as he gets the ball tossed to him in the paint. Just wow, dunk on both you guys. Yeah. I'm just going to just do that easily. And it's like, wow. There was like 4 people around him. And
he's a big guy.
Just clearing space, clearing space.
It was crazy. I had shot up out of my seat at that point and just was screaming. That's why I started to cheer for him. But now let's shoot it to give something to fans what to watch for this week. Jess?
Baseball season's coming. Friday night, primetime, 8 p.m. Big rivalry, Giants and Dodgers. Watch it.
Mike, friend, what to watch for?
Let's go Saturday. Let's go for your Final Four, and I believe it is the Butler VCU game on Saturday. So go ahead, folks, watch that.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that, and just keep watching this tournament, man. VCU keeps shocking the world. I'm picking them, even though I want UConn to kind of take it on a smart pick, but hey, VCU just got the magic right now. That's going to do it for another episode of Off the Bench. As always, my co-host Jess Munoz, Mike, friend. Great show, man. Got to
Thank
have
you,
you
Dom.
on again. And remember, follow us on Facebook, on Facebook/Off the Bench. Don't forget. Shoot us a comment, friend request, anything. And remember, get off the bench and get in the game, all right?